It is officially the time of the broadcast where we check in on weather with Nebraska Extensions Eric Hunt. Eric, what kind of weather are you tracking as we turn out to the next 7 days?
Thanks, Bryce. Definitely have some chances of moisture coming up here this next week, and for some of us, that'll be the first decent moisture we've had in quite a while. First chance will be early this week, late Sunday into Monday, as a shortwave ejects from the Rockies out into the High Plains region. That'll open up chances for moisture across the entire state by late Sunday night into Monday. Now, we're not looking at significant amounts of moisture. We might squeeze a quarter inch out here across portions of the Panhandle, maybe the northern part of the state. Generally, probably a tenth of an inch or less across most state. We may get almost nothing here closer to the Kansas border, but certainly at least there'll be something, which there's parts of southwestern Nebraska, the Panhandle, really have not had any appreciable moisture in quite a while, so that would be good news. Middle of the week, looking at generally mild temperatures, we're going to be doing a lot of ridging aloft here across this portion of the country, middle of the week. Now, our high temperatures coming up here next week are not way nearly as warm as they were to finish out this current week, where we've been exceptionally warm, record warm in some cases. Generally looking at highs, upper 40s to about maybe 60 degrees a couple days to get closer to Kansas border. So seasonal afternoon temperatures, but generally a little bit warm at night, hence the warmer than average signal for pretty much the entire state as we head through the majority of this next week. By later Thursday into Friday, though, we're looking at troughing coming from the west out here into the southern plains. We should see a surface low develop somewhere in Texas or southern Oklahoma and move toward the northeast during the day on Friday, or maybe late Thursday into Friday. Timing's still a little bit in question here, but later in the week for sure, we'll be looking at a storm system coming in this portion of the country. And pretty good chances of rain across this entire region. We may actually see some chances of snow here across portions of west central and southwestern Nebraska during this. Now, that's a little bit up in the air, no pun intended. A lot of this will depend on how much cold air we can get wrapped around this or how much evaporative cooling we can get. But certainly there's some indications in some models we may get a couple inches out of this. Better chance of getting more moisture, though, as we head toward the eastern side of the state. Right now, the National Blend of Models shows a reasonably good chance of picking up over an inch of rain here across the east central and southeastern portions of the state, but really a pretty good chance of a half inch of moisture or more for most of the eastern 1/2 to 2/3 of the state, and even some chances of better moisture out here across portions of the Sandhills and getting into the Panhandle, where we really actually could really use some moisture here right at the moment. 8 to 14 day outlook, the CPC shows above average being favored across pretty much the entire country, more bullish here in the central plains and southern plains. Now, again, this is somewhat reflective that storm systems coming in here later this next week. There's also probably going to be some chance of getting more moisture in here early the week of Thanksgiving, and there are some indications in the models we may see an active pattern developing again right around Thanksgiving. A lot of inconsistency is what's probably going to come in about 2 weeks, or maybe a week and a half from now. But there are some indications that we may get a storm right around Thanksgiving, so maybe pay close attention to the forecast as you get later next week for Thanksgiving, because it may actually be interesting for travel purposes. There may be some snow to deal with in some parts of the central U.S. that we haven't had to deal with here in recent years right around Thanksgiving. Temperatures likely stay relatively mild for most of the week. Again, not quite as warm in the afternoons as we've been here of late, but certainly still pretty good for November. But as we head into early portion of December, there are some good indications that we will see some polar vortex stretching affecting portions of the continent, or at least a good portion of this continent. If that happens, we're likely to see some much colder air come down here into the western and north central portions of the country. So we may see a very quick change to really cold temperatures as we head to the first portion of December. Now, again, this is not a guarantee, but this has been a signal I've been seeing in the models now for several days in a row. Multiple models. There are a lot of indications are that polar vortex stretching would actually have some impact on us here in the central U.S. So we may actually start off December very cold for the first time in several years. And there's also an indication that we may see some snowfall with this. So we have not had much snow at any capacity across most of the state or region here in December in recent years. We may see that here as we head into the first part of December. Again, that's a ways out, so don't go to the bank on this, but it's certainly a possibility as we head into that portion of time. Recent precipitation, we did actually pick up some moisture across the northeastern quadrant of the state this last weekend. Did include an inch or two of snow here across the far northeast corner in Concord at about 2.5 inches. But we did see some expansion of abnormal dryness and drought here across the Panhandle. I think very well deserved at this point. It's been very, very dry out there the last 30, 45 days. Soil temperatures mostly right around 50 degrees, and the temperature and precipitation around it for the weekend, November 8th, 2025. Back to you, Bryce.